everybody, welcome to my channel and Happy New Year to everyone out there. I really hope you guys enjoyed yourselves and had a happy and safe New Year. Now, today's video is actually going to be something like a New Year's resolution for my natural hair. I kind of did that whole series back in December. I will put a link if you guys haven't seen it. And I really do want to just give my hair a break. I did 12 straight days of styling my hair, and I noticed that my hair has kind of been more dry and a little bit harder to manage. So what I want to do is kind of put myself on a regimen to get my hair back to its before series, Christmas series state. So what I did was I came up with a few ideas, and I will be using my phone to kind of just keep myself in track of how I do, because I do tend to ramble. So the first thing I want to talk about is starting fresh. It's really important to start fresh with your natural hair when you want to make a change. So if you're a big chop and you just want to cut off all your hair, or for me, I have a lot of single strand knots on the end of my hair and I just want to kind of get rid of them, as well as trim up the ends, because I haven't really done a trim on my hair in about a year, which is bad, I know, I'm sorry. But I just haven't been thinking about it, I guess. I'm not sure why I haven't gotten a trim. But for you out there who don't know how to trim your hair or don't know how to cut your hair, please go see a stylist. They are more equipped, I guess you can say, to deal with your hair than maybe you would be if you don't feel comfortable. So I feel comfortable trimming my own hair, so I'm gonna do that, and I'll do that on camera. That probably will be in my next video or the one after that, because I do want to give you guys a length check before I kind of trim my hair up a little bit. Just so you can see where my length is, because January makes 4 years for me natural. I should say not 4 years natural, I should say 4 years since my last relaxer. The next thing I want to do is more protective styles. So protective styles meaning I don't want to leave the ends of my hair out and exposed to the weather, to my clothes, to my fingers, because you guys know touching your hair, feeling it, especially if you're newly natural, is like a bad habit that we have. So I want to do styles that I can keep up at least for a couple days, nothing I have to do consistently every day. Something like a bun, braids, twists. I want to experiment with different protective styles. Guys, comment down below and let me know what your favorite protective style is, and maybe I can try to do some of them on my channel. Now, this is something that I want to try to do just in general. I don't really wear froze too much outside. If I do wear fro, it's either like in pigtail froze or in a high puff, never really just out. I have a couple of times for special occasions, but in general I don't do it. I do live in a humid climate, so it's just not best for me to do things like that, just because it creates shrinkage, and my hair shrinks about 70% of the way. So say even if my hair comes up to here, if it's wet and then dries, it will be like up to here. So to reduce tangles, reduce shrinkage, and in the long run reduce breakage, because if I'm constantly having to break up tangles, you know, with my fingers or with a comb, I'm gonna experience a lot of breakage. I want to reduce that by reducing the amount of times I wear my fro out. So that's gonna be less puffs, that's gonna be less like little pigtail things that I do. I don't know, I just do random stuff, but I'm definitely gonna cut that out in 2016. So I was talking about using your comb less. Your comb doesn't have to be the enemy. It doesn't have to be something that's bad. Of course, using your fingers is something that you should always try to do more often than using a comb or a Denman brush or anything like that. Just because with our natural hair, it's coily, it's spirally, and just trying to rake a comb through it constantly, it causes damage to it sometimes. Like, it causes breakage, it causes unwanted hair falling out of your head, and you'll notice a lot of like short strands like on your sink or something like that. That's because your hair is breaking off. So I want to definitely use my comb less, and what I mean by that is during my detangling process, when I wash my hair, or even just parting my hair, I don't need to use a comb to part my hair. I can definitely use my fingers. In the shower, I can use my fingers when I'm raking my hair, hands through my hair with the conditioner in it, of course. So definitely using less combs in 2016. This is a good tip just in general. I really don't use a lot of heat on my hair, guys. The most that I do with heat is blow dry it or use a hooded dryer. I'll use a hooded dryer like this to put over my hair if I'm doing like Bantu knots or something like that, which is kind of like indirect heat, but it's still heat. So those are the two things that I use on my hair heat wise, and I maybe only do that once a month, if that. But still, using less heat causes less dryness. Your hair won't be as dry because you're not putting like hot heat on it to dry it out, obviously. And make sure you do things with your hair that don't require heat. Like even with twist outs, if you twist your hair the night before or even 2 nights before, depending on how dense your hair is, take your twists out, they'll be dry. You don't always need to use heat to do things quickly, unless that's what you want to do. But the whole point of this for me is to make sure in 2016 that I'm doing things to retain length on my hair, and heat is one of them. So you're gonna see me doing a lot less styles with blow dried hair and more just maybe stretched hair or not stretched hair. Alright guys, this is a big one. You want to make sure you moisturize your ends on an every other day or daily basis depending on how dry your hair is. This is really important in order to retain length. Now, like I was saying, you don't want to manipulate your hair too much, so you don't constantly want to be raking your hands through your hair and touching it. That's why I promote moisturizing your hair on an every other day basis, unless it's in a protective style, and then you can probably just spritz some water on it if you can, or something like that. But constantly making sure you're using products that are moisturizing and not drying to your hair. Things like natural oils and butters like shea butter, coconut oil, things that put moisture back into your hair. I would say on an every other day basis for my hair, but again, do what works best for you and depending on how dry your hair is. I think I'm gonna do a video on how I do the lock method, or actually it's more like the LCO method, which is liquid, cream, and oil in that order, just because a lot of people want some tips or suggestions on what products to use, or how to make sure their hair stays moisturized for continuously throughout the week. Alright guys, this is something I used to do when I first went natural about 2 years ago. I used to take multivitamins. Now, I never really took vitamins, like as a kid, yeah, but as an adult, I never really take vitamins like a 1 a day, and I know I need to do better, not just for my hair, but just for my health in general. You want to make sure that you're getting all the vitamins and nutrients that you're supposed to, as well as a good diet, because there's no point in taking vitamins if you're not eating right. Just FYI. So I want to start taking back vitamins. I tried the women's 1 a day, which I liked, but they didn't have gummies from what I saw, but now I see some 1 a day vitamins that are in gummies, because I hate taking pills. Like, that's like the worst for me. I hate that feeling. So I found some 1 a day vitamins that are gummies, so I'm definitely going to try those out for a month, and I want to see how that works in growing my hair, not retaining length, but actually growing the hair out. So I'll definitely keep you guys posted on that. Another thing I used to do when I first went natural is I used to drink half my body weight in ounces. I just saw a challenge. I used to go on blogs a lot, like natural hair blogs, and I saw that kind of challenge, and I thought that was interesting and cool. Now, I do want to say at the same time, that's when I started taking vitamins as well. So drinking half my body weight in ounces of water, plus taking multivitamins, plus eating right, definitely boosted my hair, but I can't say if one or the other or none did it for me, But I do want to try that again, just because that's something that you can do for your general health. You want to make sure you're drinking, 8 glasses of water a day or something like that. You want to make sure your body is healthy, because if your body's not healthy, how can your hair be healthy? Alright guys, the last thing I want to say is I want to worry less about my hair. I don't want my hair to be the main focus of my life, I want it to just come naturally. I feel like the more you stress about things, the worse it gets. So for me, like, I'm 4 years natural, and I see a lot of other 4-year natural girls who have hair all the way down to their waist or their hips or something like that, because they grow like 12 inches a year or something like that. which is great for them. I'm never one to, you know, put anybody else down or hate on anybody, and I want people to always be positive and always promote other women, you know, always support other women and love other women. So that's great for them. But for me, it's not that way. My hair doesn't grow fast at all, maybe about 1/4 of an inch a month. So trying to worry less, like, okay, my hair will grow. It's not anything I have to compete with anybody else with. My hair does its own thing. I'm my own person, and that's okay. You know, that's okay to accept yourself and be who you are and not try to make yourself something that you're not. So worrying less is really important to me, and just kind of embracing what I have, you know, not taking it for granted. And also being more of an inspiration for you guys to not take your hair for granted, and, you know, believe in yourself and see the best in yourself and not try to compare yourself to other women, okay? Because that's just gonna drive you crazy. Alright guys, so that's all I have for today. Again, Happy New Year to everyone, and I hope you guys follow along with me on my 2016 journey. Again, I'm going to be trying to retain length this year. I'm going to be doing a lot more tips on how I retain length, whether it be the vitamins, whether it be moisturizing my ends. So please stay tuned for that. My next video is probably going to be that length check video for you guys right before I cut my hair. So watch out for that. Make sure you subscribe, like this video, and comment down below what types of things are you going to do for 2016 to make your hair better. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, bye!